Hey guys, in between the raindrops, we're gonna install some wheel spacers on the Kubota L6060. I'll put a link in the description for the product. As always, I'll tell you if somebody gives me product or if I purchase it myself. In this case, I purchased these myself. These are 4.5-inch hub-centric steel wheel spacers. You have the option with the company I purchased these from to get either aluminum or steel. I went with steel because this is sort of a heavy-duty use here, and I thought the steel would probably hold up. I've noticed, I mean, they come clean because they were just machined, but just our moist air is already causing them to take on some surface rust. So after I get them bolted on the axles here, I'm going to give them a good cleaning with some solvent, and then I will apply some paint. The instructions specifically do not want paint on the surface that mates up to the wheel, so I won't be painting that. I'll probably, if I can find it, I'll hit it with some Bow Shield, which is a rust preventative coating, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. I've got the tractor set up so that I can lift the front end with the loader, and then I'll put blocks underneath it when we're ready to actually pull the wheels off. When you start out with these, just a heads up, your parking brake does not lock your front wheels on the Kubota. When you've lifted the front end and the parking brake is set, the wheels will spin, but they are not, when it's the four-wheel drive is engaged, they're not spinning independently, they're spinning counter to each other, just a note. So we've got it sitting on the ground to start with so I can break the lugs loose, and then we'll go ahead and lift it once those lugs are broken loose. Got the breaker bar for that job. Some of these weren't as tight as they should be. Some of them are. All broken loose on this side, I'll go do the other side. All right, so a couple things to note. When you're working on that left side, like putting the block underneath the axle, hold your breath, that's where the exhaust is. And there you notice, even though our brake is set, these wheels are connected because the four-wheel drive's on, and they spin counter.
Quiet down just a minute.
Here we go.
Settle down and have another one, 'cause you're tired of the game that remains until you're undone. I hit the wall to the limit. I start over like you've just begun. I didn't lie to you because I never knew you. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
This is just degreaser, because I'm going to apply some paint here, so get all the oils off the drum on the outside there. Beautiful. I always love freshly machined steel of really any type. It's just gives you that warm fuzzy feeling. A good job is a good job. When you feel it, you know. You get something that's not made well, or that's kind of slapped together, it doesn't give you that feeling, you know what I mean? This definitely just, it's a solid piece of steel. It was very precisely machined. You can tell that just from the feel of everything. There's not a bunch of chatter marks or... Oh, my goggles are getting a little fogged up there. It's not all chattery. The edges were, you know, this is not, it's not a paperweight that's going to be on your desk. It's a machine, but the edges were clean enough that it feels good. It's not a pocket knife or something like that that's something that's made to be handled, but it's still got a good clean job done to it. I'll just clean that off too. Down here. All right. So that's step one of the cleaning. Next, I've just got some carbon choke cleaner just to get the whatever's left off there. Don't have a ton of that, so don't want to go crazy with it. Just get that one last wipe down there. All right. You'd think paint would stick to that, but it doesn't always. So what I've got is clear adhesion promoter, automotive. Just give this a quick coverage of that.
It won't be over, it's never over. Now I let myself begin loving you. It won't be over, it's never over.
All right. Now I'll give that about 10 minutes. All right, bud.
Sure. Now for the next one.
Did you get that one as tight as you can get it with your hand? Okay.
There's a tiny
So-
one up underneath this.
We did the top one and the bottom one. That means we can do either that one or that one next.
Which one?
So make sure it's in there straight, slide it all the way in and just start to tighten it.
This is a cool little doohickey.
Yeah, that makes it so you can reach into spaces where you're,
Not able to.
like your impact gun wouldn't necessarily fit, or your wrench wouldn't really fit around a corner. And this just gives you a nice way to hang on to that that'll fit in that hole instead of the whole wrench. Okay, so you got that one snug.
Yep.
So now you did this one, but you've done the top and the bottom one, and now this one.
And
Which
this-
one should you do next? That one? Why?
Because it's right across.
Because it's straight across. That's great. Very good.
Why do we do the one straight across?
Well, it helps the whole part go on straight. If you put them in, like going around the circle, it could be crooked. And then when you're going around, sometimes some parts will bind up.
What does
You-
that mean?
Well, like if one side got tight before the other, it could be like jammed against the threads of the, see how there's these bolts sticking out? Like if the piece was on here crooked, but you got this one and then this one and they kind of jammed on there, the whole wheel could go on crooked. When you go straight across
And
and
then the wheel would go crooked.
you'd probably break the bolts off. If you're going down the highway in a car, break the wheel and wear it out. Or the tire, yeah. So this makes sure that we get it on straight. Okay, so now you got another one? Which one are you gonna do now? Oh, I gotta straighten my
One's
legs.
big.
Oh, you're better at that than me because you can bend your knees longer.
I can bend my knees for hours.
Yeah.
I'm Spider-Man.
And to fall
the
over
engineer.
Spider-Man.
I'm an engineer spider.
Okay.
Last
And the last one. Now double check, look in the hole, make sure you get one that doesn't have a nut in it already. You sure?
Yep.
Okay. I would have had to double check, so.
I double checked.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, because you could put 2 nuts on the same bolt.
And that wouldn't work out
Well, there would be one with no nut. Let's look and just make sure. Nope, that one already had one. Or no, it didn't already have it. It's just barely on. Is it stopped? You only got about half a turn on it. Let's see if it. Let's take it back off. Yeah, it seemed like it wasn't quite lined up on there. Let's just see.
Do we have a sticker?
No, it's not stuck. It's not aligned with the bolt. And because this pocket is so deep, it's kind of tough. I don't have the right thing down here to get it out. Up in the shop, I have like a magnet on a stick or on a long spring. That would get it out. Although, I think I just seated it on there. No, there it is. Boop. Boop. All right, let's try one more time. This time, make sure it's nice and straight. Got it? Slide right in there. There you go. You feel like it's threading on there?
I feel like it is.
Good. Is that as tight as you can get it? It didn't seem like it turned that many times.
It didn't.
Let's see. Sometimes the threads will just have a little. Yeah, it's not too tight. Sometimes threads will just have a little sticky spot. And you don't want to force it. Like you could imagine if I used the impact gun on this, how if that was not threaded on there right, and you just jammed the impact down on it,
it would break.
well, it would just ruin the whole bolt.
Yeah.
The nut would just mash the threads.
So what are these for?
That's for when we put the actual wheel on. Okay, so we've got that on there. So let's go to the other side. Now that this is on, we'll go back to the one we're putting paint on.
Oh, you got the bolts on this side?
Yep, this one's just like that. So now they're both,
Just with a little bit of duct tape.
well, it's painter's tape. So now that adhesion promoter primer stuff has had a chance to, get rid of that bug. It's had a chance to dry but not cure. It's only been about 10 minutes or less, which is what the directions say. You're standing right in front of the camera, buddy. So now I've got dark gray kind of matte paint. It's not exactly the same color as the undercarriage, but I don't think anybody will notice behind the wheel. It's really not about the color. I had orange that kind of matches this too, but it's not even quite the same color, at least for the parts that have been out in the sun. So it's more about protecting it from rust. Just a little bit of protection will go a long ways.
Rust is bad.
Well, rust just makes things wear out a lot faster.
And if you have rust on like the axle of the wheel, it won't turn as fast.
Yeah, this part doesn't move anywhere, so it isn't so bad.
Spray paint. Our best friend. I smell it.
Yeah, stand back a little more so you don't smell it so much. Normally I'd wear a gas mask, but I'm outside. I hold my breath while I'm doing it.
I can hold my breath for 2 minutes. I can handle it.
Now I gotta breathe.
Second layer.
Well, I can just see at the edge where it didn't really hit it very good. Pretty. I'm gonna shoot it right inside too. Ready?
Perfect.
Just trying to keep it off the bolts, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So now we'll go
Stop
clean.
holding
We'll go
my
clean
breath
the other
now.
side. Yeah. We'll go clean the other side the same way while this one dries. This one should be dry enough. Like I said, I did not paint the front. That is something that in the manufacturer's instructions they don't want you to do. I'm going to hit that with Bow Shield before I put the wheel back on.
Hold on and let me finish. Back there, I lost myself again. Maybe I tried to guide.
This is Bow Shield. It's a rust and corrosion protectant. It goes on very thin. So I'm just gonna give this a little hose down of it in the front here. And in each hole. Just like so. Wipe off the extra just because. Now I'm reversing the wheel from the direction it was on before. On this wheel, it's only about a 1-inch difference between which way the hub is dished. And I'm putting on a 4.5-inch spacer. Might as well get the extra inch. Should still fit on my trailer without hanging off or running up the side. So we'll give that a try. You're setting these up. You are changing the length of the arm here that the wheels will swing on, and you may find interference with your frame or your guards on your hydraulics here, so be aware of that. It's going to alter the way you can drive it. You may not be able to crank the wheel to the pin. Alright guys, that's about all the battery and daylight I've got for the day. Next time I'll be installing the rear 4-inch spacers, and stay tuned for that.
It won't be over, it's never over. Now I let myself begin loving you. It won't be over, it's never over. Now I let my feelings in. It won't be over, it's never over. Now I let myself begin loving you.